Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It is Friday. The weekend is nearly here, and it is more West Ham talk on here. Uh, the man that I'm going to speak about today is Ismaila Sarr from Watford, and for me, he is a man that West Ham have been looking at. I've heard little snippets over the last sort of 12 hours to say that West Ham are fully looking at him at Watford. I actually think it's a really, really good signing. I think it's a cheap signing and all. Right, Jimmy, I think for the money that you're going to pay for him, he's only 24, I think he is. He scored 23 goals in 89 appearances, I think it is. I think it's a decent signing. Really, really do. He's got pace. He can beat a man. He's played in a poor Watford side. And I don't think you can really assess him in the Watford sort of side, so to speak. I think he needs to play with better players, and I think you will get the better of Sarr. Do I think he would fit in our system? It's an interesting one because I don't remember Watford really playing like a 4-2-3-1. They might have done, I don't know, but Watford were very poor last season. And for Ismaila Sarr, I think he only got like an handful of goals, really. So is it a risk to take or go and buy him for saying like £25 million? I think it's a worthy risk. This man was a very, very good player at Rennes, and he signed for Watford in 2019. So he's been linked with big clubs like Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal in the past. And the only thing I can't work out is why would he go to Watford? Is it his attitude? Is it the way he comes across? Does he have a bit of an ego? I don't know. But he is a talent and he's only young. So I do feel that that he can do that role. Sarr seems to play on the right, but even if he does play on the right, it's cover for Bowen. Right, I think he can play on the left and all, right, or anywhere along the front line, or even as a forward. I've seen him play as a forward before, like up top. He's the sort of player that you bring on in the last sort of 20 minutes of games, where if you're looking for a goal, you start throwing balls over the top, and then he can run onto them, and he's a counter-attacking player, really, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So my sort of question to the people is Ismaila Sarr a player that you'd like to see at West Ham? For me, I think he would be a very, very good talent at West Ham. I think he would develop. I think he will, in a better team with better players and proper management, I think, yeah, you would do it. What are you going to learn from Roy Hodgson? Like, you ain't going to really learn a lot. And Watford's change of managers over the last 3 years has been comical, to say the least. Like, I don't know how many managers that they've had since 2019, since he arrived, but they've had a fair few. So, yeah, for me, Ismaila Sarr is the man, and I think for 25 million, 20 million even, I think it's definitely a bargain. I know what Anthony's saying there about it seems like he plays on the right. He can play on the right, but if West Ham plays like a 4-3-3 system, I think that would be a good system for him. I think it would benefit him like as an inside forward. And if you have to change Bowen around and put Bowen up front for any reason, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? But we do need pace. That's one thing I will keep saying on this channel. We need pace. We lack pace in certain areas of the pitch. And obviously, I done a video yesterday that got quite a good reaction on Rafinha at Leeds. And that's what we need. We need some ball carriers. And I think Ismaila Sarr is the man. People say Dennis is better than him. I disagree. Dennis is good to a point, but I think Ismaila Sarr has got the pedigree. I just don't think he's got the confidence. But there's an issue why no one else is picking him up. Right? And I hope it ain't his attitude or he thinks he's better than what he actually is. Do you know what I mean? So it will remain to be seen where West Ham go with this. Do you know what I'm saying? If someone said to me about Keane Lewis-Potter, Sarr, they're the sort of players that we need in the final sort of third of the pitch. We lack pace everywhere at the moment. I totally agree with you, mate. I really, really do. I think the only spot that we don't really lack pace is in defence, centre arms. I think Zuma and a guard now are two very fast people that will get us out of trouble. But the left-hand side, the right-hand side, I think Deck can run, but I don't think he's like rapid. Souček's not fast at all. And then you go up front and then you've got really Bowen who can carry the ball, but he's not exactly like lightning quick. And Antonio is quick, but his control lets him down in situations. So it will remain to be seen on how we go about it with Sarr. And for me, if Moyes does go for him, and we sort of let Lingard go, and we go, right, we're going to get Sarr in, I think Sarr would be a very good signing for West Ham. It all depends on the fee, really. I think if you look at 25 million as the max that you'd pay for him, he signed for Watford for 30 million in 2019. Now, we get him for 25 million. I think he's 24. I think he is. And he scored 23 goals in a team that's been absolutely shocking. Like, and that's from Premier League to Championship to Premier League again. Now, some of them goals was in the Championship, so it's really hard to sort of assess how he's been as a Premier League player. But when you look at it and you look at what his pedigree is, and like what he said here, Liverpool were sniffing around Sarr a few seasons ago. I do think he's a talent. Do you know what I mean? He's Senegalese international. I would say he's a regular in the Senegal side, but he's a sort of player that does like play and get involved in that sort of team when he has to be. So yeah, like I think what it is, West Ham, we need a top end player for the least money, and I think that's the best we might get this summer. I think if Sarr, Maxwell Cornet, who else really is there? Do you know what I mean? Out there, unless you're going to pay big money. I just don't think West Ham will pay the money that is needed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I'd love us to go out and sign top end players, but I'm being realistic when I see Sarr, and I think Sarr's just come from a relegated side, and basically that is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, West Ham ain't going to go out and pay 35, 45 million pounds out for a winger. Do you know what I mean? I think the Rafinha one, like, I'd love it to happen, but I'm literally hoping, like praying it happens, but I just don't think it does. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Do you think Sarr will get more or less goals and assists than Benny? Oh, good question. Like it. Anyway, before I answer that, please put your questions in the chat, and please do like the video. It goes a long way. It really helps me out. Do I think you get more or less assists than Ben Rama? I think he scores more goals than Benny in a better team. I really do mean that. I think his pace is lightning quick. I don't think he would assist more goals than Benny, though. I mean, Ben Rama's a good assist player. I think he does, like, he's very good on the ball and whatnot. It's an interesting question. I would say he would outscore Benny. I think he would score about nine goals. Benny scored 8. And I think if he played a full season and he was playing the games that Ben Rama played against the position that Ben Rama played, I think he would score more goals than Benny. I think he's more streetwise than Benny in regards to the final third. Do you know what I'm saying? The only, as I keep saying, the only question that I do have, which is, why is no one else looking at him? Why has no one else picked him up? Why is no one else saying they've got a player at Watford who's been touted for big things? And that's the only thing. Like, it just seems like it's just West Ham who's in for him at the minute. And I think, why? Why are we the only ones in for him? So it's a major. I think it's a good signing. It's not a great signing. He ain't going to get names on backs of shirts, in my opinion, but I think he's a player that we need who could come off the bench and make an impact. We need some impact subs at West Ham United Football Club. Last season, we had Yarmolenko, and probably that was it. That was it. Benny, yeah, he come on, but he was starting and he sort of in and out the side. And Vlasic was just no good, if I'm being honest. So when you look at next season, where there's going to be 5 subs, I think West Ham need to have players to come in and just go, you know what? If the game's not going our way, right, get on Sarr now, right? Because we know he's got pace. He can, and you start stretching defences. Do you know what I'm saying? Like these 2 comments that are coming up right now, we should go and get Lewis Potter instead. I've been mentioning Lewis Potter on this channel for the last 6 months, and Simon is saying the same thing. I do like King Lewis Potter. I ain't gonna keep banging on about him, but for me, King Lewis Potter is the real deal. I think 25 million for him or 25 million for Sarr, I would probably go for King Lewis Potter. I really would. I think Keane Lewis Potter is going to be a really, really good player. I watched him in a game back in January, I think it was, against Everton in the FA Cup. And I know they lost the game whole, but he was man of the match. He was absolutely first class in what he does. He plays a bit like Foden, picks the ball up, controls the ball very well, passes the ball excellent. His awareness is good. He's got a bit of a turn of pace, but yet he's not rapid, but he can get away from people. Excellent. He crosses balls in, he has shots. He's a very, very good player. And I'll be very surprised if he's not picked up for a Premier League side this summer. If it ain't us, I think it's Brentford. I think Brentford will look at him, and Brentford have been looking at him, but I think we're in pole position. And I do think it all goes down to the Lingard situation. I think if Lingard is a definite no-no, because people still think there is a possibility of Lingard coming to West Ham, then I think Keane Lewis Potter would be the man. And if West Ham have got this reported £125 million or £120 million or whatever it is, I would sign him. I would. He will. Would I say he'd come in and make an immediate impact? I think it's going to take him a bit of time, like he did with Bowen. But if you want potential and possible future, that is the man for me, and that is Keane Lewis Potter, 100%. What else we got here? Let's have a look. Lewis Potter over Sarr all day. I slightly agree with you there, but I do think Sarr's a decent player. If I had my way, I'd go and pay £50 million out for the pair. That would be me personally. £50 million. Sarr, Lewis Potter, job done. And you've got two exciting players who are going to be bench players, let's be honest. But you've got strength on that bench to go, right, we've got some players coming on who can make an impact. I mean, could be his previous injuries, which are putting other teams off. Yeah, he has had a lot of injuries. We need real competition for places in all positions, and we were so predictable last season. That is so true. Last season, I think we all knew on the 70th minute when the ball come up, we all knew Ben Run was going to get subbed if he was on the pitch. And Antonio played all the games. And really, sometimes Moyes didn't even make a sub. There was times where he just didn't want to make the sub because he looked on the bench and he thought, what I've got on here cannot cut it. So, for me, there needs to be some reinforcements. Now, if you do get Sarr or you do get Keane Lewis Potter, I don't think they're going to come in straight away, as I say. I think they'll be on the bench, but they are a good impact sub to come on and cause some damage, basically. Also, Potter's not in the African Nations Cup. Yeah, but it's an interesting one. I don't think we should worry about that. I think that's every sort of 2 years, I think it is, or 4 years. So it ain't going to happen this year. So by next summer, you can assess it again. I think we should keep our open mind with players, because when you look at it, we've got Saïd Benrahma, we've got a guard. If we would go out and sign some more African players, then it would become a problem. But I think Sarr is worth the money to go and get. Personally, I think both of them, myself, if I'm being honest. What we got here? Let's have a look. We got this. Got to keep in mind AFCON. Love African players, but the break in January is a nuisance to put it mildly. Yeah, listen, I totally agree. But I do feel that with these 5 subs, we need to sign some players. And whether they have to go to AFCON, also whether or not they get called up for AFCON, it's another thing. Because Benny's not a major favourite at Algeria. So, for me, I wouldn't be scared to not sign African players. Do you know what I mean? I would sign African players. And if Sarr is sitting in Watford and he's 25 million, if we can get that down to 20 million, I think it's a great signing. I think if he goes to 25, I think you just do it because he's there. Anything higher than that, I think it's not worth it, in my opinion, because you're taking a major risk. What else we got? Let's have a look. Yeah, we need to bring Potter in. We are front runners for him, but wish we could just buy Rafinha and not Sarr. The Rafinha one is still up in the air, really. I know people keep mentioning about Chelsea and all that, but he's looking at it, and someone's put it in my chat yesterday, which was brilliant. They said he's looking at the World Cup, that he needs to play every week, every game in the Premier League on the lead up to the World Cup so he can get picked for his national team. I don't think he does that in sort of like a Chelsea or Tottenham, if I'm honest. I think Chelsea will look this summer and go big on other players. There's no guarantees that he's going to be a rotating player. Do you know what I mean? And I think Arsenal, he could do, but if Arsenal are a very hot and cold side, if they perform well, then he'd be playing all the time. If they start falling off the edge of a cliff and start having a bit of a meltdown, then he could come under like criticism. Do you know what I'm saying? I actually think if West Ham was to get Rafinha, that would be a statement signing. That would be a name that would go on backs of shirts, which would sell shirts. I think Keane Lewis-Potter would in time, but I don't think he would now. And the same with Sarr. I think it would in time, but not now. But I think a Rafinha would. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about with him, really. We should make a real statement and go and get Sterling. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I wish that was true, mate. I must admit. Should Moyes sign players to fit his system, or does Moyes find a system for the players he buys? That's a good question as it goes. That leads on to my next sort of topic of conversation in regards of what will be the system next season. Now, for me, I've watched West Ham play 3-4-3 this last few years, and West Ham just don't play well with it. They play well in odd games, but against bigger teams, yeah, they just get found out. They're all over the place. I watched them against Southampton last year away. They played that 3-4-3. They played Fornals as a left wing back. It didn't really work. I watched them against Spurs try and go man for man against Conte Spurs at White Hart Lane. Did not work. So I'm not a big fan of the 3-4-3. Do you know what I mean? I really am not. I don't think we've got the personnel for it. And I think what it was when we was going from back to front, it was like we were struggling to get up there and get people around the players. Like if Antonio can't hold the ball up, the ball was coming back. The 4-2-3-1 system is a good system for West Ham, but it's a slight problem on that left-hand side because I think Fornals goes on that left and he covers Cresswell quite a lot. I think if you get a better left back in and then you get a left-sided player who's attacking, like who can bomb up and down, that's what West Ham need. Benny used to play on that side. I don't like Benny on that side, if I'm honest. I don't think Benny suits that system at all. I think he's too wide. I think he hugs the byline too much. These triangles don't work. And it seems like to me, when they play that system, West Ham, it's always Bowen who's driving forward and Antonio's going one way, Benny's going the other way, and Fornals is floating around. And it's just not productive in my eyes. The system that I would like West Ham to play is a 4-3-3 system. And basically have Declan as like your holding midfielder with two players just in front of him, passing the ball. Two technically minded players. Do you know what I'm saying? And if Declan wants to go forward, you can rotate it. Now, if West Ham was to go and sign a James Ward-Prowse and say went Souček, Declan, Prowse, then I will go, you know what? Wow, that looks quite decent, and have like a front three attack. Do you know what I mean? Because I think you've got to have Bowen more inside forward. You've got to have Benny more inside forward, or another player who replaces Benny. And then if Antonio's up front, he's got to be closer to the goal. Like, how many times last year did we watch West Ham and see Antonio taking throw-ins and going wide and going down the channel? I understand it, yeah, but when you've got your centre forward going down that consistently, it becomes a problem. And it becomes a problem for a reason that basically there's no one in the box. Do you know what I mean? So when he's turning, he's got the ball and he's looking up and he's thinking, he's only aiming for Souček. If Souček's not on it or he's not playing, then the ball's just sideways and back. So that's got to change next season. I do like the 4-3-3. Every time I've seen West Ham play a 4-3-3, they look quite decent in it. Like, even if they play like a 4-2-1-3 sort of thing, like, they can do it. But it's just the players. Ben Rama is too wide, and Bowen has been excellent this year. But Bowen's only been excellent because he's used his brain to go, right, I'm going to come infield instead of keep going down that side. Because you very rarely see Bowen going down that right and crossing balls into the box. Very rarely. He's always got the ball and he's trying to cut inside if he can and cross. So they're going outside and cross. So, yeah, that's what I think on that. Hit the like button, people. Please do, mate. It would help me out greatly. I was watching JP's channel and he said we're looking at around about 50 million to spend. I don't know. Obviously, something come up earlier on about Declan Rice to Chelsea. Now, if Chelsea come in with a bid for 120 million, is that the 120 million that's been touted about on the West Ham sort of bandwagon? I hope not. I hope West Ham ain't bracing themselves for a 120 million pound bid for Declan Rice. If that is the case, and we've only got 50 million, that's not good enough. And the fans should be saying, what's going on? Like, and if that is 50 million, including a guard, then technically we've only got about 25, 30 at best. Because if you sell Diop, that's what you're going to get back. So it's a major concern. What's going to happen moving forward with that? West Ham need to spend some money. I think we all know it. So do you know what I mean? It will remain to be seen what happens in the coming weeks with that. What we've got here, I had another question here. What's happened to the Days Banter show? If I'm honest, mate, I haven't seen or spoke to Dave for quite a while, for about 2 months. I see him on social media. I personally, I'm not too sure, but I think he's give it up now. I think he's given up the YouTube game. I think he's doing other things, and he may be back at the start of the season when the football season starts. You know what it's like when West Ham are playing. He wants to watch the game. He might do a stream, but I don't want to say he is or he isn't. But I feel that he's giving it a miss. Do you know what I mean? Which is sad, but listen, he's his own man and he's got to do his own thing. Do you know what I mean? So that's it. What we got here? African Nations Cup cost Liverpool the title. Yeah, possibly. Let's have a look. Prefer Keane Lewis Potter. I see a lot of people saying that Keane Lewis Potter is the man for them. Let's have a look. Let's get down here. Tony, afternoon, mate. Hope you're all well. What we got? Simon Rogers. Yeah, let's have a look. What we got? I know. Just when they wasn't in the team, they lost the title, but we shall see. That's what about Liverpool. What's going on here? I've got a horrible feeling Chelsea are getting Dex this summer. If that is the case, the fan base will go absolutely mental, because if Declan goes to Chelsea for 120 million, could they use Broja as part of the deal? Now, if I was to go on a space on Twitter and say, would you accept 120 million pound of Broja? Would the fans really accept that? Maybe Chelsea are looking at it and thinking, right, we've got a bargaining tool now with Broja. But they want Broja. They need a striker. Can we do a deal and get him in there? Do you know what I mean? I hope not. I hope Declan's here for a season at least. Do you know what I mean? But they want to make a statement signing Chelsea. I've always said that since they've got them new owners in, they've got to make a statement signing of some sort. And don't be surprised if a bid does get made for Deck. What we got here? Let's have a look. Let's just fly through. So have a look what we got. I would have Rice and Souček and that midfielder from Feyenoord in. Yeah, he's quite a decent player, I must admit. Just come back from the dentist. I need a fill-in. James, sorry to interrupt, but I need to ask Mitchell a question. Yeah. Last night, if you didn't see, I was on a late night space on Twitter, and I had over 125 people in this space last night for an hour and 40 minutes. And it was interesting. I was getting a lot of views from different people, and it just went a bit berserk. So next time I do a space on Twitter, I will control the situation, and I will do it calmly instead of everyone jumping and clashing, basically. Do you know what I'm saying? What we got here? Tony, Moyes and the GSB can't fail in this transfer window. As we saw, no business in January. There is no excuse this time. We know we need to freshen this squad up. Totally agree, Tony. 100%, 1,000% with you, bruv. There is no excuse this time. I think Moyes has got the right defender he wants in. I think he knows how to find defenders. It's the attackers that irritate me a little bit, because he's going for people who are, let's say this, like, he's just going for, like, he's like picking them out of an hat, really, so to speak. Now, on this Twitter space that I've done recently, I turned around and said that if Broja is the man, what has Rob Newman and Moyes been looking at for the last 18 months in regards of a striker? West Ham have needed a striker since 2021, January 2021, when Haller was sold. And to say that we're going for a 20-year-old Chelsea academy player who's had one half good season with Southampton, and you're saying he's the man for West Ham, that to me feels like the scouting. Like, who are they scouting? Do you know what I mean? Because they should have a player already lined up to sign for West Ham. Like, you look at Liverpool, they looked at Darwin Núñez, player that we was linked with in January. Summer comes, bang, money, done. And it just seems like West Ham are holding back, or I don't want to be rude, but it seems like they don't know how to find a decent striker. And they're so scared of the Haller situation all over again. Now, I had someone in my comments section saying about people have got the ump because they spent 80 million combined on Haller and Anderson. You need to get over it. Do you know what I mean? We spent 18 million and 5 million on Krafel, and they've become bargains in like today's market. So we need to get over this sort of Haller gripe, so to speak. Listen, he's moved on. He's gone on to Ajax. He's possibly gone on to Dortmund there. West Ham need to move on, and West Ham needs to go out and take another risk and go for another striker. It's like having a bird that you can't get over. Do you know what I mean? And it seems like we just can't get over the Haller situation. It needs to be sorted out at the end of the day. Morocco are to play a warm-up game versus the United States on 2nd of June. They've already played it. I watched it. Robert, 100%, mate. Chat for anyone on Twitter. Jump on James's evening spaces. They are gold. Also, drop a follow on there. Oh, here you go. Look, promoting yourself, Jezza. Good man. What we got? I want to try and get everyone's in there. I'd rather not have Broja. I totally agree. Sorry to say, James. Hope all's good with you. Yeah, listen, I'm good, mate. I'm very, very well, and always good in the hood. But I do agree with you on that. I do think that this is make or break for Moyes and the board. I think, you know what I mean. The board more so than Moyes. I think Moyes has got a pass really, right, because of what he's done. He's done amazing with the players he's got. But if the board don't step up the funds this summer for players, then I'm sorry, but questions need to be asked of what is going on. Now, if they were to come out and say that they're not prepared to spend X amount of pounds because they're looking to leave, at least that would reassure the fans to say, right, in a year's time, that's where West Ham are going in a new direction. I don't believe it, though, at the minute. I really don't. I'd rather not have Broja, keep Rice, and get Belotti on the free. I like Belotti, so yeah, I agree. I'm about to get on the road again. We'll catch up later. Yeah. Let's make sure we hit the like button, share, and subscribe, people. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Any more questions for you? I think we will keep Deck for this season. Spend decent money and then sell him to balance the books. I agree slightly with that, Lee. Yeah, I do. I think next season, I think we all know if he don't go this season, he's 100% going next. Like, we all know that. The only thing is that this season, I think this will be the proper season with no COVID. No, last season was a bit, how can I put it? There was COVID involved last season because it was delaying games and postponing games, etc. This season, there is no excuses for like games being called off or anything like that. You've got bigger squad, you've got more subs. Everything's going to go for us. So I think this season is where we will see if West Ham are real. This is the real West Ham, and this is the real sort of beginning of something new at West Ham. Yeah. One thing I don't want to see at West Ham this season is us go backwards. That's one thing I don't want to see. I've seen it for many years. I don't want to see it no more. And when people keep saying about you should appreciate where you are, at least we're not in a relegation battle, then people need to look at themselves and say, we never left Upton Park, yeah, to go to Stratford to be fighting relegation. We went to go to Stratford to fight for European competition, which we have done. And I expect that to continue regularly. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of whoever's up there, Villa, Everton, Newcastle, Leicester, we are a big club. We've got fans that travel all over the planet to come to West Ham, and they should be rewarded at the end of the day with some sort of success, and that's what it should be. And that's my personal opinion on that. What we got? Let's have a look. James, we lost the scouting network years ago. I blame Sullivan for that. I wouldn't mind Broja. We can mould him into our player. True, we could do. But what I can't understand is what's Newman been doing. Newman's been in the door nearly a year now. And if you're coming from Manchester City and you are looking at strikers, surely he must have a network of people, scouts and like football recruitment like people all over the planet. Like it just seems like it's like Joe Blogg's going to games on his, like every week and he's trying to find a striker. So I don't know. Like obviously Sullivan is to blame for quite a lot of it, in my opinion. Hi James, my brother-in-law reckons we should sell Rice. He does not rate him. Ooh, I don't know about that, Kev. I don't know about that. Is he a Chelsea fan? You know what I mean? Thank you very much, mate. We're bringing Oko Flex. It looks like he could be going out on loan. The Oko Flex one is a bit of a sad situation for me, right? When I keep hearing that, and when I look at us as the Academy of Football, we haven't really given any of our youngsters a chance, really. Declan come flying through the doors, and let's be honest, after his first game against Liverpool, I think we all thought he wasn't going to make it, and he's come good. Do you know what I mean? Ben Johnson is good. He's good in certain games, but he's not amazing. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think this season, Conor Coventry will be a backup midfielder. I'm pretty sure of that. If we sign one midfielder, he will be the backup. And I think Harrison Ashby will be a backup right back. Do you know what I mean? I would love Ashby just to break through that right back position. I think he's absolutely first class. And I do like the way he plays. And that's the sort of player we need at West Ham, especially at right back and left back. Attacking, direct, crossing excellent, prepared to take people on. And he's a ball carrier. He'll carry the ball up the pitch. And that's what we need. What we got? Let's try and skip down to a few more. We got James, what other areas would you like to see strengthen defence midfield? Left back, mate. First, a major thing is a left back situation that has to be sorted out this summer. If it isn't, and Ben Johnson is our covering left back, then people have got every right to be angry. We've needed the left back for the last few years now, and it's time to get a left back at this club. We've been linked with Hickey, we've been linked with the Danish lad, we've been linked with so many other players at left back. Talafika at Ajax. I don't know how many players we've been linked with, like in all, at left back position, but we need a left back at this club, and that is a major thing for me. Left back, I think the Areola deal's got to get done. He has to sign. There's no two ways about it. We have to get him in. And I think a centre forward is a must. I do believe the centre forward should be challenging Antonio to a point of taking over from Antonio. Now, if that is Broja, I don't think it is. If I'm honest, I don't think Broja's going to come in and literally take over Antonio's place, even if Antonio's playing bad. I just don't see it. I think someone like an El Nesri could do that. I think he's got bags of experience. 25 years old. I think there's Ivan Toney at Brentford, who, for me, if I had unlimited funds and I wanted to go and get a striker within reason for West Ham, I'd go and get Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, for me, is perfect player for West Ham United. He's built like Antonio. He plays like Antonio. He scores goals, scores penalties, and he's got that arrogancy. And what I do like about Ivan is he drops deep and he brings others into play. And that's what we need. We need that sort of type of player. So they're the players for me. How did West Ham sign Tevez and Mascherano? Why can't we do that again? Yeah, but we only got relegated, mate, and got a massive fine. So, yeah, that was 2007, I think it was. Nearly went down, just not quite. Need a direct fast winger that Moyes is actually going to trust and not be subbed off in the 60th minute if we're not cruising. Totally agree, Ethan. I really do, mate. What else have we got? I'm just going to try and get down. I'm more optimistic now. We can take an F to the defensive fight. Hopefully, Moyes will get 5 more players, and we need 3 strikers at the club. I agree with you on that. 3 strikers is a must. For me, if we go with 1, then we're putting all our eggs in one basket. If Broja, if Antonio doesn't perform, we're hoping a 20-year-old's going to save our season. It's not exactly right, is it? Do you know what I mean? West Ham years ago had Harewood, Zamora, Ashton, Cole. They had so many strikers at the club. It was unbelievable. And now we haven't even got one, really. Or we have got one, but he's like a part-time striker that everyone keeps telling me about. So we need some strikers at this club, whoever they are. I've been linked with Tete again. Faults. I don't know what to say really, Robert. If I'm honest, mate, I can't really give you a comment on it, mate. If I'm being honest, you know what I mean. Newman's hands must have been tired because with you considering and buying, Newman's supposed to have. I'm sure the West Ham faithful want strong, decent signings, not make do's and has-beens. I understand that, but going for people who are inexperienced and hoping that they're going to like potential. We've done that last season with Vlasic, right? And I knew like that Vlasic wasn't going to cut it. Right? I had many debates on YouTube with people, and people kept saying to me, "No, like you don't know what you're talking about. He's going to come good. He's this, he's that." And I said, "This geezer won't last a season, right?" And I said he'll be gone by next year, probably on loan. I actually said, and it looks like it's happening. So what we need to buy players who are ready-made, ready to go, like who can come in and do an instant job, and that takes money. And West Ham just don't spend the money, as we all know. So it's a bit of a hard one. I think Newman has had his hands tied to a point, but if you've been looking for a striker for the last 18 months at West Ham, and you're going to go for a 20-year-old academy player from Chelsea, you're telling me that people like Jonathan David in France, who in the French league, they're a bit crippled financially and they need funds over there because their TV deal collapsed, I believe. He's a great player, 22 Canadian international, right? And when I say, like, there's levels in class, and I think Jonathan David's miles ahead of Broja. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting one. It really is. I'm just worried, mate, if we don't get a striker and a left back and keep the likes of Mazuwaka and so right, imagine how toxic it will be. I don't think that is the case, mate, if I'm being honest. I think we will get a left back. I think we should get a left back. Whether we will or not is another thing. The striker, I think he knows that he needs a striker. And I think he's going to go down the line of strikers that he can possibly get. What Mitchell says, and Mitchell comes on this channel, yeah? He says, why are we going for people who are at the bottom end? We should be going for people at the top end, so to speak. People who are in Europe, look like what Simon says here. Luka Jovic, I think his name is, from Real Madrid, ex-Frankfurt player. Serbian international, I think he is. Yeah, excellent player. That's the sort of players West Ham should be going for. But we go for someone like a Dennis or Maxwell Cornet, or do you know what I mean? Or someone who's like low key. I understand you want workers and you want this and you want that. But you also need quality, and quality wins you things. And without quality, you ain't getting nowhere. So I think we will sign some players. I hope anyway. What we got? Let's get down here. Calvin Lewin, fancy him. I don't know. The only thing with Calvin Lewin is his mind and his actions at the minute are so far away from football. Like you see him in doing modelling shoots and things like that. You don't want players like that. Like you don't want him to be going out and doing. You want him fully focused. Like if you're winning games and you're scoring loads of goals, I think you can go and do that. I think when you're in a dogfight like Everton was last season, and let's be honest, it wasn't him who saved Everton. It was Richarlison. Then it's a bit of a major concern. I think if you've got a player in there, a bit like Lingard. Look at Lingard, he's doing TikToks and he's like, he don't care about his career basically. Do you know what I mean? He's like, oh, that will come on. That'd be the second thing. Like when you should do your career first, and then second should be like your social life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like everyone else does on this planet. So Calvin Lewin, I think he would be a good signing for West Ham, but I don't think he's just right as in mentality. I don't think he's got the right mentality at West Ham. Like I think West Ham, the fans will get on his back straight away if he wasn't performing. Do you know what I mean? If he was doing these things and doing modelling shoots and he weren't scoring goals. And that's one thing I will say about Antonio. Listen, even though like I'm like that with Antonio sometimes, yeah, I can't say I've seen Antonio do anything like that to sort of jeopardise, like to get criticism. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Calvert-Lewin did do that last season, and that's why a lot of the Everton fan base was like right on him, because they was fearing for like the exit door. Do you know what I'm saying? Uh, Souček's getting so much stick, been playing a different role, unhappy because of other players' wages. Flogged to dead because he's no depth in the squad. Boy's a warrior. Big mistake to let him go, in my honest opinion. I don't know about that, Lee. I think certain games, and Mitchell, who comes on this channel, sums it up brilliantly. He's very robotic, Souček, and teams have sussed him out. Like, when West Ham are playing against the side, they don't target Declan Rice. They target Souček because they know he's slow. And he's, for how good people say he is, his passing is horrendous. And I actually got like a percentage up, and I asked someone in the chat to send me like a percentage of Souček like passing accuracy. It was like 59%, something like that, and that is poor. That is poor. Like, and when you look at 59%, I think it was, or 60% in Thomas Souček, and then you look at Declan Rice, which is 91%. You have to ask yourself what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think we had a one-season wonder with him. Like, when he first arrived at West Ham on loan from Prague, I thought he was good. I thought he actually helped us stay in the league. Do you know what I mean? Big time in 2020. Then he had that season when there was all shut down, COVID, like no one allowed in the ground, and he was good. He was excellent, absolute first class. The season just gone, I can't remember a game where he sort of run the show. Fair enough, he scored the goal against Seville, right? Which, let's be honest, it was a great goal. I can't remember a game where he looked like he's been man of the match. Do you know what I mean? When the season before, I could probably remember about 5 or 6 where I thought he was absolutely first class. Do you know what I'm saying? So Souček is a major. I think Souček needs to sort himself out, his performances out, before he starts asking for more money. Do you know what I mean? Because how can you ask for more money when you're performing at a lower end? Do you know what I mean? Ain't going to work. What we got here, let's have a look. Hi, James. I like all your caps. This is a new one. Yeah, I got this one today in the post, so it was good. But it would be my number 1 striker. No, I don't want Mike, mate. He's all good, mate. You know what I mean? Moyes just seems petrified of taking a chance with a proven player like David. He's too obsessed about whether they will fit instant or instead of getting some quality. I actually agree with you there, Will. I actually 100%, 1000% agree with you on that comment. I really do mean that. Yeah. And when I look at Jonathan David, he is gettable. He's in France. There's a few players in France who are absolute gold, like player that you could go and get into the Premier League. And it just seems like to me that West Ham are going for players that he sort of, what's the word? He's looking for, like, that he sort of knows. He's not taking a risk. And I understand with the Haller side. But West Ham, forget Haller. We had Zaza, who come from Juventus, who was shocking. Right? Haller's not the worst player to play in a West Ham shirt. That's one thing I've got to say on that. And it seems like when people are saying, yeah, Haller was shit and this and that. Okay, fair enough. I get it. Time to move on, though. Because if you're going to keep going in the past and all that, this is why West Ham won't move on and try and win something. West Ham have to. I want West Ham to win something in my lifetime. Do you know, I mean, I'm 35 years old. I want to see him win some sort of trophy before I go. Do you know what I mean? I'm worrying about Haller. Haller's gone from West Ham. He's gone to Ajax. He's gone to Dortmund. He don't care. So why should we care? So I do agree with what you're saying there. Moyes needs to start having a little look around for a striker of quality. And if he's a 22-year-old Canadian called Jonathan David, then so be it. But it just seems like Moyes wants... I don't know what Moyes wants, if I'm being honest. Moyes is not very good at picking attacking players. Someone said that to me a long time ago. Defensive players, you'll find your gold. Like a guard, Zuma, right? Even Kafal to a point, he will find you these sort of players. Even Areola, right? Great. But Moyes is a defensive player. I think he was a centre-half back in the day. Attacking-wise, he's a bit sort of clueless. So maybe he needs to bring in an attacking coach or an attacking scout or something. Do you know what I mean? Because he needs to find someone who's going to challenge Antonio. Because if Antonio goes down next season, then we've got a major problem because then we've got no striker. And then you're putting square pegs in round holes, like putting Bowen up front, which for me doesn't work because he's waiting the right hand side to light, and it goes all around the team. So that's what it has to be. Do you know what I mean? Stop obsessing over like these players, like these small end players, and go for people that are top end. But also, he needs the finances, so that does help also. James, the phrase is tried and tested. That's the type of players that we're looking at. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that. We've had some dog shit strikers. Totally agree. What we got? Let's have a look. What do you think of Hickey, James? I think Hickey's a decent player, mate. I think for a youngster to come in and learn, and like Cresswell could do another year, and then Hickey comes in the following year, I think it's good. But it's like, yeah, again, it's like Moyes is trying to please the current players rather than bringing in the new and improved players. We was told that we was going to be like the Red Bull model. Yeah, it was going to be this big team and have all these youngsters. Like we're going to sign younger players. I haven't really seen it at the minute. What we got? Let's try and skip down to the bottom here. Let's have a look. I heard from Gonzo that Masuaku might be staying. If Masuaku stays in a West Ham shirt for another season, he's blagging it, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's blagging a living at West Ham. He's been here since 2015, I believe. August 2015, I think it was. We signed him. Yeah. And how he has been here for that amount of time, I don't know. I'd love to know what he does in and around the training ground, etc. Because it fascinates me how he's still here. But if Maz is still here, yeah. If Maz is the backup left back next season, that's when I'll be very, very angry. If Maz is here and a left back comes in, I think I could take that because then he could be gone in January. So we shall see on that. Let's have a look. Let's get down to your phone. I heard Marco Boogers wants another crack. Oh dear, mate. Yeah, absolute shocking. He was 100%, and that's not. And that was me growing up. Hi, mate. I think Sarr is a good option. However, I'd prefer Lewis Potter. We definitely need pace to be more effective on the counter. Totally, 100% agree, Trev. That is what it's all about. West Ham are a counter-attacking side, in my opinion. They don't. When West Ham have to break teams down, and I'll go back to what Mitchell says on different things, because Mitchell is right. West Ham find it hard to break teams down when they're in a low block sort of thing. When we're playing against these sort of tricky teams like we did last year, it's like Burnley, for instance. Burnley got relegated last year. We didn't beat them once. We drew both games because we struggled to break these teams down. So we need pace. Do you know what I mean? And that's all I can say, really. The pace factor is what the Premier League's all about. It's fast, and that's what we need. West Ham have put a post with a Moroccan flag, and it says, "Guess who? El Nisri." I don't know what that end bit is, bruv, but tell me. Basically, shut West Ham down. Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. I've done 48 minutes of West Ham. I'll tell you what, I was going to get to his last comment. I just feel Moyes ain't ruthless enough to be an elite manager or really help us win things. He's got his favourites that he plays religiously, and he doesn't want to upset the apple cart. Totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I said this, anyone who's followed this channel for a while, last season I was getting very upset with Moyes because what he was doing, he was playing his favourites and not giving certain players a go. And listen, Alex Crowell, yeah, for how shocking Alex Crowell was, there were certain games where he could have come on as a first central midfielder and helped shut the game down. Vlasic, like, for how much I don't rate him, if I'm being honest, he could have come on games and tried to do something. Yeah. But Moyes goes, like Will says, and Will's bang on the money here, religiously, he would go with his favourites all the time. Like Cresswell, for how bad Cresswell was towards the back end of the season, he would go with him because we've got no one else. And that falls on Moyes. And Moyes has got a lot of making up to do from the January transfer window because he said that he couldn't find better than Mikel Antonio. He couldn't find better than X, Y, and Z. Well, now you can, Moyes, because you've got a summer window to go and find these players. And I'm not going to be rude to these players, but There is better players out there, but you've got to go and find them. That's what you've got to do, and not go with hoping that you're just going to like find a gem in, let's say like Broja, and he's just going to come in and be like a master stroke. Do you know what I mean? But it will remain to be seen what goes on there. Anyway, I am going to wrap it up at that. Thank you for watching today. I really do appreciate it. That is me done for the weekend. Please smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And yeah, over the weekend, possibly Sunday, maybe Monday, I will do Have Your Say with Lucas or Mitchell, one of the two. See if I can get both of them on, and we'll talk about what's gone on over the weekend, if any news or anything. My final thought with Sarr is this: if Sarr is coming to West Ham and it's a nice fee, I think it's worth pursuing. I think he's a decent player, Sarr. I think he's wasted at Watford. I think he's young. He scored 23 goals, 89 appearances for Watford. You make that what you can make of it, but this is a boy who's been touted before to go to Liverpool, to go to Man United. Also, Issa Diop got that and all. So, but I do think Sarr is a talent, and I do think for the right fee, we can get him in, we can work with him, and he's a threat off the bench. Would he be a starter for me? Probably not. But we need some subs. We need some players to come off and make an impact. And for me, he will be one of them. Obviously, Keane Lewis Potter would be my choice amongst a few people in the chat who have said that also. So yeah. Anyway, try and enjoy your Friday. And is Sarr coming? Only Moyes knows. Bye for now.